Faculty are at the heart of every institution. Scholarly helps you support them with ease. As the only AI-powered faculty lifecycle platform, Scholarly brings everything together: tenure reviews, evaluations, CV management, and reporting, all in one place. Scholarly's AI tools can create a custom tenure process in seconds or import a 50-page CV in minutes. The result? Academic operations that are faster, smarter, and more transparent for everyone, designed to work for higher ed today and tomorrow. Learn more at scholarlysoftware.com and discover the AI-powered future of faculty affairs. Again, that's scholarlysoftware.com.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the EdUp Experience podcast. I am your host today, Dr. Jody Blinko, and I am joined by the president of Cornell College in Mount Vernon, Iowa, Jonathan Brand. Jonathan, welcome, and thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me, Dr. Blinko. I appreciate having this time with you.
Yes. So I know when we were just chatting briefly before we got started, you said when you talk about the institution or you say you're president of Cornell College, share with us how that usually goes after that.
Oh, well, there's this great T-shirt actually that's been produced just down the road in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and it says Cornell College, Cornell, no, not that one. In Mount Vernon, no, not that one.
I love it. So tell us, for those of us that are not familiar with Cornell College in Mount Vernon, Iowa, tell us more about you. What makes you unique? Tell us about your student. Just enlighten us.
Well, so we are a residential liberal arts college. We've been around since 1853, which, for just to tie it back to my initial comment, we are older than the other Cornell in Ithaca, New York. And that is a point of pride for us. We are on a historic campus. It's one of a very limited number of campuses that are entirely registered on the National Historic Register of historic places. So we have this spectacular campus. And if there's one identifier for Cornell College, it is that we are on the block system, the one course at a time methodology, which is something that we implemented in 1978. So we're coming up on 50 years of operating under our one course calendar, which is to say that our students take only one class at a time for 3.5 weeks, for 18 days. And rather than studying 3, 4, 5 different subjects, they get to focus on one at a time. And it produces, at the end of a year or at the end of 4 years, their transcripts look very similar to what you would find at any other school. However, the experience is fundamentally different for our students because they get to immerse themselves in that one topic, which is to say that they don't have to juggle 3, 4, 5 different topics in their minds. They get to really dig in deep into one subject.
And I know that you mentioned this, but just repeat it for us. The year 1978, you've been doing this system?
That's right.
Wow. So you were really leaders, I would think, in the space with this model, or?
So there was one other school at the time, Colorado College in Colorado Springs, that had implemented the block system in 1970. And 8 years later, so Cornell is a school that has an appetite for innovation and good risk taking, courageous risk taking. And I wasn't here in 1978. No, I wasn't. I wasn't even in higher ed at that period. The faculty saw what was happening at Colorado College, thought, having something distinctive, different, really excites us. We're attracted to it. And so at that moment, we adopted it very quickly. We have a very innovative faculty, and a faculty that I would not characterize them as stuck in their ways. They like to see change. They like to see opportunities like this. And so they embraced it in 78 without really knowing for sure. And I can say, as we engage in strategic planning for as long as I've been here, and I'm in my 15th year, We talk about a lot of things that we can do differently, that we can start, that we can let go of. The block system is off the table. It is
That's
so
incredible.
it's so wrapped up in our identity and what we think
Yeah.
we can do that nobody else can do.
Yeah. So one course, 3.5 weeks. As you said, I would imagine that just from a human perspective, the student really does get to immerse themselves and their mind and their being into one topic versus 3 or 4 at a time. What indicators have you seen related to student feedback, student engagement, student retention that reinforce this decision where the block schedule is not on the table for strategic planning because
Yeah.
all this data tells us it works?
Right. Well, so when I first of all think about this from the perspective of inputs, what we are able to offer our students, and I'm always thinking about what students today and what we believe future students will need. We can't
Mm-hmm.
always focus on what students 10, 20, 30 years ago needed. We have to focus on
Yeah.
today and into the future. When you look at what they are seeking in a college experience, for example, they are seeking experiences, activities, experiences outside of any traditional mode of learning, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
when you're on the block system, I like to say you can have your cake and eat it too. So, for example, if you are a member of pick your athletic team and you want to study abroad, you can't do that at a school on a semester system because those opportunities are largely 15-week travel abroad opportunities. But on the block system, and at Cornell, we offer anywhere from 10 to 15 off campus that travel during a block. A student can pick an off campus experience that fits within their other obligations and commitments on
Wow.
campus. So at one level, we're able to offer experiences if they want to intern at
Mm-hmm.
a business. They can do it for 3.5 weeks. They can do it for 2 blocks, so it would be 7 weeks, and it doesn't get in the way of their other coursework. So they can really immerse themselves not just in their classes, but in their other endeavors and experiences that they want to have. And we
Yeah.
know that students want those experiences.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I would say about the block system, and it ties into inputs and what we know from students, is they're looking for connection and community. And when you are on the block system with your students for 3, 4 hours a day
Mm-hmm.
together,
Mm.
and your average class size is 16, that's your average class size to one
Mm-hmm.
faculty member, we are offering our students this ability to connect with each other and with a faculty member in a way that is very hard to recreate in other models. And so I teach in political science and politics.
Okay.
Every other year I teach a class, and I can't, it's hard to explain to you how I grieve at the end of my 3.5 weeks when I have to say goodbye to my class, like my family,
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
people that I've been with for an intense period of time for 3.5 weeks.
Yeah.
That is something else that I think students always need, but I think particularly these days really crave that. The other thing that I will say, again, when I think about inputs for our students, and I'll come to outputs in a second,
Mm-hmm.
uh, which is our students only take one course at a time. Our faculty only teach one course at a time.
Ah.
And so again, having a faculty member who might be teaching 2, 3, 4 courses a semester and distracted. When I'm teaching a class, when any one of us here at Cornell is teaching a class, pick the number of students, 16 students, they're my universe. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have
Yeah.
to think about
Yep.
16, 20, 30, 40 other students. Everything I think about from morning till I go to bed and get up, it's them. It is they. And so that from an input perspective, it is really uh, powerful. And I'd mentioned earlier, the pace of life. Our students learn. I'm somebody who values getting work done. I mean, getting work done is 90% of the game. And on the block system, you learn to roll up your sleeves and get work done
Yeah.
because every day is like a week on the semester system.
Yeah.
Like you might get a 20-page paper, and it might be due in 2 days, 3 days. And so our students develop an impressive work ethic and a willingness to roll up their sleeves and just do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, for me, you can't put a dollar value on that.
That's a life skill
Yeah,
in multiple ways. Yeah.
right. And so
Yeah.
when students of ours graduate and they go on, for example, to graduate school, and over 60% of our students go to graduate school, at some point after they graduate, they tell us it was so much easier than I thought it would be. Because they're acclimated, they're acculturated to a work
Mm-hmm.
ethic, to a
Mm-hmm.
timeline and a pace that is comfortable for them.
Yeah.
And so, our med school acceptance rate double the national average. And part of that is the one course calendar, part of it is our incredible faculty. Part of it is, again, back to the block system. When you are taking a lab science, it's not 3-4 hours once a week or twice a week.
Mm-hmm.
It's every day for 3.5 weeks. You are a lab scientist. You're doing experiments in our labs that you can't accomplish anywhere else because you can only get into the lab once a week. Here, you get into the lab anytime you want for 3.5 weeks. So our students gain a confidence.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking about that immersive experience and like you said, the daily 3 to 4 hours a day, that sense of community, the average class size of 16 students, like you said, it, we all know as human beings in the day-to-day life what it feels like when you've got a to-do list and then you've got these meetings and you've got home and life and everything else. The power of that learning experience to be able for the student to plug in and the faculty to plug in to only them, like you said, for that 3.5 week time period. Just the power of that presence on both sides, where the student doesn't plug in for 3 hours, forget about it, come back the next week and have to think about, where did I leave off? What were we talking about? It's, oh yeah, I was just in this yesterday and I'm really excited to come back tomorrow and keep working on it. Um,
Exactly.
yeah.
I mean, we don't have to start every class with 5 minutes of let's catch up, to remind you all of what we were
Yes.
talking about 2 days ago or
Yeah.
last week. You don't
Yeah.
have to, or summarize at the end. I mean, and I will say, residential liberal arts colleges, I think as a sector, we're very student focused, and
Hmm.
I see it, and I see it across across our type of institution. On the block system, it's just a step deeper or two
Yeah.
steps deeper because
Yeah.
of the block system. I don't know how to explain it. We are like student focused on steroids.
Hmm.
And part of it is, frankly, our culture. We are so wrapped up in our students. I mean, we live and breathe their experiences with them. I don't know. You should come visit. It
I
is,
would love to.
it is
Yeah.
unlike anything I have ever experienced in my life. And it's why I
Yeah.
stay, because it is a renewable energy source.
Hmm.
This sort of passion for our students, commitment to helping them, and
Do
they're
you,
connected to each other.
yeah. Eh, the faculty only teaching one course at a time, was that instituted at the same time as the block schedule? So both have been that way since 78.
That's right. In fact, I don't think it would be feasible for a faculty member to teach more than one course at a time.
Yeah.
First of all, the block system, because of the way we teach, and because these aren't lectures. I mean, these are in very, again, immersive, very uh, intensive sessions. It's time consuming. I mean,
Hmm.
I can just say that when a faculty member here is teaching and grading and preparing for the next course and advising and doing all their other responsibilities, you have to wonder,
Yeah.
how do they do everything else in their lives during that period? It is a very time consuming, energy consuming, and I mean, completely fulfilling and enriching.
Yeah.
It is really, it takes up the day.
Talk to us more about, you mentioned student focused and, you have to really just be there and experience it to understand it. But talk to us more about the logistics of the block schedule is obviously one, both for the student and the faculty, but what other things are in place to reinforce that culture of being wrapped up in your students and really plugging into them in the way that you all do?
Yeah. Well, so one way that it reflects itself, frankly, is in how we continue to modify what we do. So I'll use, so first of all, after COVID, now over 5 years ago, amazing.
Mhm.
Lots of schools, including Cornell, we really had to adjust everything that we do, not just because of COVID, but because, frankly, the needs of our students have changed and they continue to change. So our faculty, who are very much student focused, are always looking for what we can do, and not just our faculty, staff as well. We're looking at what we need to do and can do differently to meet the changing needs of our students. So
Mhm.
I'll give you an example. So again, when you think about a semester system, students can be in class 8 in the morning until into the evenings, probably. Our faculty looked at the schedule and they said, let's by legislation not have class start until 9 in the morning. So classes can't happen until 9. That ensures that students who are up late can get a night's sleep. They might have athletic practices in the morning. They can go to that and still have time for breakfast. They might do homework in the morning. I mean, and let's also make sure that at 3 o'clock, we're done so that they can go on to their other activities. Student Senate might have choir. They might have orchestral band. They might have an athletic. They might have mock trial. It could be almost anything.
Yeah.
So we try to pay a lot of attention to, again, the schedule that will work for our students. That's one way that we kind of continue to
Mhm.
adjust and change. And these are changes based on what we're seeing from our students. In addition, like many liberal arts colleges, we maintain a very robust student life um, set of offerings and support
Mhm.
around our students, whether it's mental health, whether it's advising, wellness, uh, physical education, just to
Mhm.
make sure that our students, I mean, the life of the mind is critical. The life of every part of yourself is even more important. And
Absolutely.
so we try to offer a full array of programs and support for them around their academic experiences.
And I would imagine that doesn't stop with just the student. It sounds like that is in the culture for the staff. And you talk about the faculty, but just how you also take care of the staff and the leadership. How is that infused there so that that carries forward to the student?
Yeah, and I think that's a great question. And frankly, I think that is harder than I would have expected. And the reason why I say that is, and maybe this is post COVID. Actually, I don't think so. At Cornell, this is sort of woven into, again, with this, people like to work really hard here. And part of it comes from a space of, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that Cornell students succeed, and everything in my
Mhm.
power to make sure that Cornell College thrives into the future.
Mhm.
And that is a beautiful space, a beautiful sentiment.
Yeah.
It comes with a really devoted faculty and staff who will lay everything out on the line. And so I do think that you've hit on something. And again, I think post COVID, we're still sort of lingering a little bit in the fatigue that
Mhm.
after that period when we all had to roll up our sleeves and do things differently
Yeah.
in really hard ways. So I think that's a good question. I don't think we've quite um, solved this yet, but the
Mhm.
first step to solving something is recognizing it and being honest about it.
Yeah.
And I do really see how hard our faculty and staff are working, and and then can join all the challenges around higher ed right now,
Mhm.
uh, creates even more stress for everyone, I think,
Yeah.
on top of it. So we're mindful of it. I don't think we've solved it yet.
Yeah. I can appreciate what you said too. The first step in solving something is to recognize it and absolutely work from there and just evolve as the times evolve. And you touched upon this. I know we were talking about it a little bit before we started recording, but I think you said this so well, and I don't know that I'm going to capture it verbatim, but you said, higher ed has never been in this moment that we're in. Higher ed has never been in this moment before that we're in right now. Feel free to correct me if I got those words wrong. But talk to us. You also mentioned about just the faculty and the leaders at the campus really being courageous risk takers, and the risk taking and the moment we're in right now in higher ed. I know you also feel very strongly about strategic planning and really resource allocation, as we all need to be doing right now. But I guess my question is, share with us your perspective on this moment that we are in higher ed collectively, and how are you leading with your team through strategic planning and resource allocation to control what you can and also keep the noise and the unknowns just out here so that you can take care of your students, take care of your people, and continue to move forward.
Imagine if everything in faculty affairs was simpler. With Scholarly, it is. Scholarly is the AI-powered faculty lifecycle platform built for higher ed. From automated CV imports to activity reporting to tenure reviews to reporting, everything is centralized and easy to use. Tasks that used to take months now take minutes. Scholarly is changing everything in faculty affairs. Visit scholarlysoftware.com. That's scholarlysoftware.com.
Oh, well, thank you for the question or the questions. So a couple ideas around this, which is this is really at the heart of the hard planning, strategic thinking that we have to do, that every college and university is surely doing right now. And so there are a couple areas that we are focusing on, again, as information that we need to talk and think about what Cornell College of the future looks like. I mean, institutions that say they're great and stay the same are already on their way down.
Yeah.
So we always have to be ready to change. So a couple points. So undergirding this. So a couple of years ago, we had an alum on campus from the class of 1975. And he said, okay, Jonathan, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell me why. Why does Cornell exist? He said, I'm not asking you to tell me, don't read me your mission statement. I don't want that. I want you to give me the emotional why. Why emotionally would a student say, I'm going to Cornell College? He said, tell me why. He said, oh, by the way, you won't be able to do it. You need to go talk to the students and recent alumni and ask them why. And they'll give you the why. He said, everything we do at Cornell now and into the future has to advance that, first of all. So that's part of you. So we all started by I mean the executive team, student life, we all started talking to students. And we realized that our emotional why comes in two parts. And it all ties into the block system, which is one, our students find on the block system in particular, this web of support around them, this support structure around them that is honest, it's genuine, it's all enveloping, it is there for them. And they feel it and they see it and they know it. And because of that web of support that I would refer to as the big hug, because of that big hug, our students are willing to try to do hard things, to take risks and succeed or fail. And failure is only failure if you don't learn from the pain or from the failure.
Yeah.
And so our emotional why at Cornell, at one part, and this goes to what we always think about now in terms of the decisions and programs we offer, is we tie into our emotional why, which is this web of support around each and every student and helping them and encouraging them for themselves to do hard things. Conjoined with that, we collect a lot of data to understand what students are telling us they are looking for in a college experience. And that changes every year. So, the top 4 things that we know
Mhm.
students are looking for today. First of all, they want to graduate with little to no debt. So, financial aid matters.
Yeah.
They want to go to a college and know that they're going to get a job when they graduate. They want to graduate from a college and know that they have the skills to succeed in that job or
Mhm.
any job. And then fourth, they want to go someplace that has a vibrant, joyful community. Top 4 things.
Hmm.
So, what we are doing right now at Cornell, and I think we'll be doing this regular, is this is not a, oh, we've done the planning, put it away and move on. We're
Right. Check the
always
box. Yeah.
continuous improvement.
Yeah.
So, what we're asking ourselves right now, with those 4 outcomes in mind, with our emotional why in mind, with the block system in mind, what can we do that no other school can do? For example, in what ways can we be a vibrant, joyful, enriching community because we're on the block system? Because we
Mm.
can do things that the University of fill in the blank could never do.
Yeah.
Because we know when students are in class and when they're not in class.
Mhm.
We know at the end of 3.5 weeks that they get 4.5 days off, a block break, before they start their next block. How can we use that time?
Mhm.
How can we create, frankly, and this goes to your earlier question, how can we create a faculty or staff experience that is vibrant and joyful?
Yeah.
Because our students are going to feed off of that.
Absolutely.
We model it for them, they will feel it.
Mhm.
So that's the work that we are going through right now. And I am as guilty of this as anybody else. I can sit down with you as we're doing right now and say, "Oh, the demographic cliff, we have fewer students. Oh, they
Mhm.
don't see the value of college. Oh, they don't want to pay to go to college. Oh, Pell Grants might disappear. Oh, our international students can't get visas," whatever it is. And all of that might be true. And I
Yeah.
would say to you, Dr. Blinko, it's just an excuse. And by that, I mean it's all true, but that does not change our internal responsibility to respond to that. Because I
Mhm.
am confident that if we are relevant to our students, we will be just fine as an institution well into the future.
I can feel that energy and that passion and that truth in what you're sharing, and I don't know that I've ever heard a president or any other leader for that matter in higher education talk about the emotional why. I've heard the why, but the emotional why creates a whole different awareness, connection, intention, and really drives it. This is my interpretation of what I was hearing you share, just drives everything. It's that anchor, it's the grounding point that says, why are we, not only why are we here, but being emotionally connected to that and having that be the driving force. And I have so much appreciation for that. And I would also imagine that when you, as you talked about strategic plans or things like communication flows or emails or the stuff that has to happen, right? It's the operational day to day stuff. It's infused with that emotional why, which is very different than, as you said, it's not the mission statement. It's not this is our, what we're doing and quote unquote, why we're doing it. It's more, and it feels holistic for the human being
Yeah.
and, and what the student, that's where that joyful community that you talked about, students can feel that and feel that they're genuinely cared for.
Yeah. So if I can add, because thank you, you've prompted me to just think about something else, which is I haven't looked at this data for probably 10 plus years, but I'm going to posit that it's still valid today, that when students graduate from high school, they are at their emotional lowest point.
Mm.
You would think that when students graduate from high school, it's a major end of a chapter, pinnacle of an achievement for that moment, excited to go on to college. But I actually think it is much more fraught and challenging than that. At least that's what the
Yeah.
last time I saw the data suggested. And so behind this emotional why is the recognition of something that we have to be mindful of, which is when students come to a college, there's a lot of uncertainty and
Hmm.
anxiety
Yes.
and fear. And again, uh, I'm not trying to exaggerate or in any way express this as overblown. I mean, students want to do hard things. They want to
Hmm.
succeed. They want to do well.
Yeah.
It's just recognizing that students are coming to college feeling uncertain about
Mhm.
their abilities and whether they're going to fit in and whether they're going to do well. Some of this might be post-COVID. So last year, I was with a group of students and with a coach, our cross-country coach, and he was talking to the students after a really hard workout, and he was trying to sort of wrap up the workout. And he said, okay, two things I want to tell you all right now. You all are so much better than you think. And two, you really can do hard things.
Mm.
Now, I admit one of those two items, quotes, is from Winnie the Pooh, but they are such powerful statements to our students that reveals their their psyche, their approach, where their minds are,
Yeah.
which makes the emotional why, that big hug, that web of support around them, so much more important because we want to meet our students where they are
Hmm.
so that we can take them to places we can help them get to places they never thought they could get to.
Yeah.
That's what every college wants to do
Absolutely.
and does do.
Yeah. And I do think, and I know you said, you don't want to make this more than what it is, but um, I think you are absolutely spot on, you and your team and the institution, to be thinking about what are the fears, what are the anxieties, what are the unknowns, because they're a human being, and as human beings, we can all relate to that feeling. Maybe we forget what that feeling was like going off to college, but I bet you've had a similar feeling about something else, 6 months ago as an adult. The fears and the anxieties are there when something's new and different. And the questions of, can I do this? Can I be successful? Where am I going to need extra support? Or I don't want to look silly or, not know certain things. Those are all real, very real human emotions that, whether we're talking about going off to college or starting a new job at whatever age, exists. And I again, I have so much respect and appreciation that is embedded. And I love the web of support that you were talking about. And it really is a if a student feels like they have the support, they have somebody in their corner, you can do hard things, you're better than you think that you are, words matter. And even if it's just something small and somebody says it to you at the end of a day, you might have needed those words that day to just, okay, today was a tough day, but I can keep going tomorrow. And I think we lose sight that those interactions have so much power, even if they're, you know, just a quick exchange. It matters.
If a student doesn't feel connected to someone else and doesn't feel like they've got their community,
Mhm.
nothing else matters. Nothing else will happen. They won't
Yeah.
stay. They won't
Yeah.
thrive. They won't. And I mean, everything falls apart the second they lose that social connection.
Hmm.
It's everything
Yeah.
from the outset.
It really is. Is there anything that we haven't talked about yet that you feel is really important, unique, or that you want to share about Cornell College?
Well, no, I do wonder. I will ask whether you are having in-depth conversations with others about artificial intelligence
Hmm.
and how you see that playing out in higher education. We're spending a lot of time thinking about that. early stages, but it's here and it's coming at us pretty quickly.
Yep. Without a doubt, it's on the radar. It's like you said, it's here and it's here in a big way. I shared with you before we got started that my background and work is in consulting. And so obviously that's a hot topic for clients that I'm working with. And I will share with you that the institutions that are not shying away from it, are willing to explore, but explore it intentionally, not just jump at, well, everybody else is optimizing their admissions with AI, so we've got to do that too. I think institutions that have jumped and run really, really fast without intention have almost swung that pendulum too far and are now starting to back cleanup. And that's a tough space to be in. And there's already a lot happening. We don't need to insert one more challenge that we've kind of brought on ourselves. So while there are a lot of tools out there for the classroom, for faculty, for the operations side, for student support, there's a ton of different angles of how you can plug AI into your institution. I think, again, where I'm seeing institutions have success and feel confident about their implementations are really diagnosing where would AI offer us optimization, efficiency, better reach to our students, more effective student experience, or a more powerful student experience, or a more effective student service, and finding the right tools or right platforms, if you will, and plugging that in intentionally. That's where you have stronger buy-in internally, not as much fear internally on the staff side, because I think that's also very real. Staff are wondering, well, if this comes in, then what does that mean for me? We know that AI will never be a human being. And so finding that balance between what AI can do with the human touch and the human experience is also a sweet spot that I think institutions are still exploring. And the danger is just jumping on board because it's the cool thing to do nowadays, and also spending money on something that I see this happen often because it's the new shiny thing. We go spend a bunch of money on something and then find out, well, that was a big waste of money that didn't work. And in fact, it almost cost us more in every way than what we were expecting. So I don't know if that's helpful, but that's kind of what I'm seeing from where I sit. And I think the danger of anything that is this significant of a movement, without question, it is going to up level us in a lot of ways and has the capacity to do that. I just think institutions have to be careful and intentional about how they plug it into their system.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. Well, are there any final thoughts, words of wisdom, life wisdom that you would pass along or share?
Everyone's better than they think they are, and they can do hard things.
I like it. I like it. So perfect. Well, thank you for joining me today. I did actually spend a little bit of time in Des Moines, Iowa. I also worked at a campus in Cedar Rapids, so I am familiar with the area. But would love to visit you all if I'm ever up in that way.
We are in a beautiful part of Iowa. It's hilly. There are trees. I mean, yeah, cornfield. It is.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain when you're close to the Mississippi River, and we're an hour away. The terrain, the topography, the rivers. It's a beautiful part of the world.
Well, I hope I get to see it one day. Yes. Well, thank you, President Brand. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing. Thank you all for listening to this episode of the EdUp Experience podcast, where we make education your business. Until next time, you've just been EdUp.
Faculty data all in one place. With Scholarly's AI tools, they're making academic life simpler, from CV imports to activity reporting to tenure workflows. What once took weeks now takes minutes. faculty processes just got easier for everyone. Discover how at scholarlysoftware.com. That's scholarlysoftware.com.